Today on Gamers Couch,
Kumo Hogosha. Hogosha?
Hogosha.
I don't know.
Welcome to the couch, everybody. Hi,
Hello.
and happy Sunday.
And before you run away, we try to keep this a little bit shorter than the last video. Because this game is a little bit shorter too than the last game.
Yes, this is Daniel. If
This is Sarah. If you're
new to the channel and don't know
who she...
we are. He's my sweet husband, always screwing up my intros and outros. That's what he considers is his job, though I say it isn't. And something is funny on the camera. Okay, sorry. My name is Sarah. I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten and owner of this channel. And besides painting and drawing things, I also like to play board games. Preferably with him, so we thought we'd talk about them every Sunday on this couch on this series. Today it's Kumo Hogosha, if I butcher the name with my horrible German English accent. I'm sorry about that. Hubby will tell you all about rules and gameplay, then we talk about what we liked or not liked, and finish off with funny stories and experiences. So, sweetheart, do your thing.
Now, so that I don't butcher any more names. Funny enough, this is another Japanese-themed game by, I think, a French guy, because his name is Ger Pirard, or Pirard?
Ger Pirard, yeah. I can speak French, but not...
And without from Genie?
Yeah, Genie is the...
Or maybe he's German, then it would be Genet.
Yeah, but speaking or pronouncing it in French, it would be Genie.
Whatever.
Sorry.
Well, not whatever, but...
Names.
We have reached our personal limits of...
Names.
Language knowledge thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, this game is an abstract game for 2 or 4 players. There's no 3 players, and you'll see quite easily why that is the case. That has you play little... well, almost like sumo wrestlers called kumotori that are represented by these wooden blocks with little dudes on them that show you what they can do. And you will have your own little team of 6 guys that are, well, starting on here. So you would place your 6 cubes, well, I don't want to call them dice because you never really roll them. You place your cubes on here. And the object of the game is to, and this is actually a real stone, I think it's quite heavy actually, and apart from nice looking, it's good for throwing it at the opponent.
Oh, I should have done that.
Actually, that's the objective of the game. You have to throw this at the opponent. Well, not quite literally, but you have to push this stone from the center of the arena, which we have to assemble a little bit, so bear with us. I have my hands down here. So, at the beginning of the game, when I can find that, there it is. Yeah. At the beginning of the game...
Can you see? Yeah,
this,
this way.
Me.
Yeah, I know.
So, at the beginning of the game, each opponent sits on opposite sides of the game board with the stone of balance in the center. Now, you will bring out your kumotori and try to push this stone over into the opponent's camp, well, not their face, but their camp, to win the game. The interesting twist, no pun intended, is that this arena can be rotated, which doesn't work properly right now because...
we have not...
This arena can be rotated because along this line in 90-degree angles. So even though you might think, oh, I'm close to pushing the stone over into her or his camp, he could turn this arena around and then you have a major problem.
I'm gonna disassemble the board now.
Yeah, I just need the center part.
Yeah.
To explain to you how things move. So, as I said, the stone here of balance is always in the center of the game board, and on your turn you get to do 5 actions. Those 5 actions can be bring one of your Kumotori out, and you have to place them along the line that is next to your camp. Even if the arena rotates, it's always the line next to your camp. So you could bring one guy out, rotate the arena by 90 degrees, and bring another guy out, and then again have to place it there. Another action is you can move one of your guys by one space. So either horizontally or vertically. You may not go diagonal in this game. But some of the so-called special actions might prevent you from moving regularly. So let's talk about the special actions, which are actually the faces on these cubes, and you get actually another action would be to change the face of the cube to the side of your liking. So you can bring guys out, one action, and you can turn them to the side that you want to when you bring them out. But if you want to change the side afterwards, you have to spend an additional action. Now, the special actions that are on here are, you can, put it this way, you can run. If you run, you pretty much get 2 movement actions. But as with anything that, well, gained a lot of speed, it's actually quite easy to, well, not run then. So if you're in the running position, so if this side is up, you may not move normally for one space anymore. So you have to plan out a little bit where you want to get, where you want to go, or switch this to a different side. You can also, let's see what's making the most sense to explain to you next. You can jump. Now, if you jump, you could have, let's say, 2 guys here, 1 guy here, and your jump, where is it? There. Your jump guy is here. Now, you can spend an action to jump, and you just go over every cube that's on the board until you hit a free space on the other side to do so. You can still move normally one space with jumping, so that's a nice thing to do. Another thing you can do is to grab and move. And you can almost grab and move everything except for the big stone in the center. There's a special action for that. So let's say my grab and move guy is here. I can use an action to use his special thing to move him and an adjacent figure over to, well, any space that I can move them to. Obviously, I cannot move them to the stone or to my other guy because they're blocking, but I could also push him in that direction. Another way to move other guys is to throw them, which is a separate phase. And again, you have to be adjacent to someone. And then you can place another cube to the side. And theoretically, you could also combine them. So let's say I spend my first action to throw him over to here, and then spend his action to throw him over to here. So you can chain up you guys and kind of, I think you have to get it up a
sorry.
little bit. I hope that you could see it. Let me show it. So you can go here to there, spending 2 actions to throw guys. Now getting into the final actions, there's this blocking action, which allows you to, well, step on top of an adjacent figure, and this Kumotori may not do anything this turn. It costs an action to get onto him and to block him, and on the next turn it is mandatory to spend another action to get off of him again onto his free space. If for some reason all spaces are blocked, and now I need to be creative, need a little bit more guys, so if all spaces adjacent are blocked, you just go to the next free space, and that's that. But that's an effective way to block people from going anywhere. Now, the last action that also is the second one that does not allow you to move in a regular fashion is this move the stone action kind of thing. And there's a special rule for that. As you can see, there's 2x on this. So to move this big stone, you have to be in this move the stone action, and that actually has a pretty fancy name, which I just don't remember.
It's called Kumo.
The Kumo stance, so to speak. So if you're in this thing, you can activate or spend 1 action to activate this, and then the stone and your 2 guys move. The rules for that are one has to stand next to the stone and the other guy has to stand next to you, so they kind of have to be together. This is not allowed, and same for this is also not allowed. So you try to stay in this position and then move other guys out. There's actually a special rule in place. If you have someone around this stone in these 8 spots, so the 4 adjacent and the 4 diagonal ones, you cannot be blocked by another guy. You can be thrown out or pushed away, but you cannot be blocked. So essentially, the game is about bring your guys out, get to the Kumo star. Is it Kumo, called the Kumo star? I look.
It says Kumo on top, so I'd say it's the Kumo
the stone of balance. Get there quickly, get into your Kumo stance, and then try to push it over to the opponent's camp. And you just need to get the stone out on the side wherever the opponent's camp is. One thing, you have 5 actions, but it is mandatory to rotate the arena at least once by 90 degrees. So effectively, you only have 4 actions that you can choose freely, and the 5th must be spent for rotating the arena. If that's not enough actions for you, there's actually something you can do about this. Now, on the main board, there are little prison tiles on there. So if you manage to, let's say, I have a yellow dude here and have...
It's orange.
Sorry, orange dude here, and brown dude is in a throwing stance, and let's say this is the side where my player board also is, I can throw him out and take him prisoner. This gives me an additional action immediately, and it does so until, well, the opponent spends an action to reclaim his guy. So as long as I have a prisoner, I have 6 actions available each turn. If I have 2 prisoners, well, you guessed it, I have 7 actions. The maximum extra amount of actions you can get in a 2-player game are 3. So you can capture 3 dudes, you would have 8 actions available, but you still have to spend 1 to rotate the arena for that. Let me quickly check if I did... No, I think that's everything.
Can I put it down?
Yes, and for a 2-player game, the 2 players obviously sit opposite to each other, which is different for the 4-player game, where your teammate or where teammates are sitting opposite to each other. So their player turns go clockwise, and it is almost always alternating between teams. The difference there is that you don't have 5 actions, but you have 8 actions for the both of you. The only restriction, you have to spend at least 3 per player and not more than 5 per player, which makes sense if the other one has to spend 3. But you can be a little bit flexible of how you want to do that per round, and then it starts again. So you could say on the first round, I'm starting slow with just 3 actions, and you get 5 to be a little bit more, well, pushy. No pun intended. Well,
no pun intended.
And then later on switch it over to 4 and 4 or something like that. Also, if you're with 4, you can only gain 2 extra actions by capturing. But now you have 2 additional areas where you can throw people into, because you can capture them by throwing a guy into your area or into your teammate's area.
And everybody gets 3 cubes.
Yes,
only.
you
separate.
You still play with all 6 cubes per team, and you just split them up 3 by 3. I promise this is going to be quick, so I think this is quick. Let me quickly check. It's also it says it's for ages 8 and up, which is probably pretty fine. There's nothing to read except for the manual. It says 30 minutes, which is also fine, although to be fair, we haven't played the 4-player version, and I can see that taking a little bit longer. And it takes 30... Well, it's an abstract game where you theoretically could take forever to finish it. But that being said, I think the games we played never went longer than 30 minutes yeah. Because you kind of at some point... You are pushing the stone literally forward, and at some point it escalates in someone winning the game. Yeah, and that's it. Before we go into the big likes and dislikes thing, I just wanna, and this is actually a huge like. While this is a first edition, as far as I'm aware, there's some minor printing manuals, especially in the English rulebook, but things that are nice. There's a rule book that explains pretty much what I just told you. And then there's the Sumo rule book, which goes into detail and explains the movements of your Kumo Tori in great detail. Actually, the game hints at maybe at a later point in time, there's an expansion introducing a different clan, so different cubes with different movement options. Although, to be fair, I have seen very few things online about this game.
Sadly so. But yeah, we're going to remedy that with this video.
And the other thing, so you have seen this. This is just the outer shell of the game box. And I have to say...
So we are in the likes section now.
Yes.
Likes and dislikes. Putting in the screen.
So not only does this look really slick and fancy, it has it's magnets in here, and you open it up and you have that's actually probably really difficult to see on camera, but these are insert spaces for not only your Kumotori but for probable expansion guys that go in here, and you can this thing prominently for the stone in the center. Not only is this looking really fancy, the manuals go up in here in these sliding bags. These are the French manuals, and it's pretty nice, I have to say. It's surprisingly nice for such a. I don't want to. It's not necessarily. Well, it's simple in a way that abstract games are simple, but. This game probably could have gotten away with way less production value on the stuff. There's some minor things, and I just assume that this might be either because it's first edition, but you might see that two of these dice are a little bit mismatched in terms of color, and I think.
But then again, I was checking that yesterday.
We have the same for one or two.
This is not brown wood, I assume. I assume it's colored like you do with the inserts, and then depending on what part of the tree they cut, the chemical might react a bit different.
Yeah, that's also.
So there's a slight difference in color there for the cubes.
This is actual wood, and it is not super annoying, but it was something I noticed immediately upon opening the box. But I'm totally fine with that.
If it would have been cubes that would have been painted with, say, acrylic colors instead of what is it called in English? Beize? What's it called?
A stain. Wood stain.
Instead of having stained wood, then I would have been not happy with it. But with stained wood, I don't mind because I know how it works with, let's say you have a part where, oh God, I'm so bad with English today.
Branch.
Where a branch comes out from the tree trunk.
Sorry for holding my hand in my fatze, but... or phase, as
the English say. So if you have a part of the tree where the branch comes out of the tree trunk, that always stains differently than other cuts of the tree. So I guess they just had different parts of a tree there that was then stained with very beautiful colors in my opinion. I do love the brown and orange a lot.
By the way, the flip side has the French reference guide on there.
Do you want me to go on with what I like or dislike, or do you want to go on because we kind of both said some things?
I just wanted to point this out because this is like
this is stylish, fancy.
Almost talking
design.
About it's not gameplay experience, but. We saw this at the warm-up event before Spiel in Essen.
Yes, Tina tested it.
And we just saw it from afar, and it looked interesting. Those wooden cubes and the rotating arena, and I have to say, this is gorgeous artwork. It just looks amazing. actually does remind me a little bit of Naide or
The guy
the Beaux-Arts kind of games with a Japanese style and great comic-y artwork, but not
over the top,
not necessarily not cartoony in a funny, quirky sense.
No,
but
they're what I would consider illustrations.
Yeah.
When you look at the line work, and now the artist comes. When you look at the line work of the dudes here, they are done in a way that you would recognize from cartoon books, graphic novels, even maybe some kind of mangas. But the coloring and the shading of the figurines is way more done in the way illustrations are done, like for children's books or things like that, and not or maybe a graphic novel even, but not a classic cartoon or a comic strip. So that's, I guess, what you mean with they look kind of the way that, I hope I'm not going to butcher the name again, Naida, the artist that does a lot of Antoine Beaux-Arts games, works as well, and I really, really like that style. I'm with you there. It's just beautifully made. The whole design, not only of the box but also of the game board, the pieces. It's very fancy. It's very streamlined. There's not a lot of muss and fuss, but
I would say that
it's
this
beautiful to the eye.
This is deliberately simplistic, as in perfectionism from Japanese culture would be by putting only as much stuff in there as is necessary to whatever get the thought across or to get the feel across. And this is an abstract game. Still, it feels thematic with this, hey, you are these Kumotori sumo fighter guys. And
we could actually play the soundtrack while playing this game that we got from Tokaido. It would definitely fit also with this game.
Little stuff like these bamboo trees on the barcode.
It's very beautiful to the eye. It's eye candy. That's what I would say. I mean, the materials used. You have the craft cardboard color. It looks like nature. It's a lot of brown, a lot of ochres in there. Natural ways. Yeah, you have stone, wood, cardboard. The colors convey the same theme. It's just
interesting.
The only thing that's not like that is the plastic,
and that really you actually notice that
it's weird, right?
In this, and I realized that this has nothing to do with the gameplay at all. But it's like
we like that part about games as well. Just
there's a lot of feel that comes from that.
Yeah, the part that is a board game looking beautiful and being really nice to the touch. Is the part that makes you want to put it on the table.
And I would totally
before
agree.
Before you have experiences with the game. So it fits in there.
If you would play a game like chess or backgammon and have a really nice set of that, it becomes more enjoyable, at least to me. And it
just goes into the gameplay experiences as well. I mean, if it would be a totally crappy game, then I would be, that's sad. But if it's at least a reasonably well done game, it gets more exciting just by the way it looks and how it feels. So it's very important, at least to me. I mean, me being the painter in this family as well. So I really look for that stuff. And I'm very appreciative of any publisher who goes the extra mile and does make the game itself look beautiful and have it feel nice.
If I saw that correctly, I think the publisher is called
Morning Players. Yeah.
I would assume that's the publisher because it says so on the box.
Yeah. Anyway, as for the game itself, and again, I'm missing the English word, so I'm just gonna say the German word and have somewhere on the screen...
The German lesson of the day, yeah.
Yeah, that too, and have somewhere on the screen the English translation. So this game to me, all in all, felt like Mühle on speed. It's a very abstract game again, but it didn't really feel like chess to me, but it felt more like with the way you move in that old game called Mühle. Again, somewhere on the screen there's an English translation.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't even know the English, but that's always a little bit difficult because something as simple as sorry or pachisi is called Mensch ärger dich nicht in German, which is like nothing at all like
you cannot really translate, but I'm gonna look for it while editing this video.
By the way, Mensch ärger dich nicht pretty much just means human, do not get angry, or dude, chill.
Or sorry, I poked you there.
No, that's not.
I know.
That's not the same. Sorry kind of implies empathy. It's like, I know you're feeling bad, so I'm sorry. And the other is like, dude, chill.
I know. But anyway, it reminded me of Mühle. In this case, again, it's a very old game. It's been around for centuries. It's a very abstract game as well. But the movement of the cubes in Kumo reminded me more of the movements in Mühle than it did, for example, in chess. The first abstract game you kind of compare things to is chess or backgammon, pretty much. These are like the go-tos.
Well, I do, because I played both of those quite extensively.
Did as well, more chess than backgammon. But it reminded me of that old game, which then in turn reminded me of all the awesome times I had playing Mühle with my grandma. So it's just like, happy memories again.
I can't confirm or deny because I had never played Mühle.
I will show it to you. We will play it and you will tell me afterwards, please, if you are reminded of Kumo in that sense. But I really just liked while being reminded of my childhood there. It's just personal things that it triggered with me. But on the game itself, I do like that you have different options of the cubes with the jump and the block and the Kumo and the thing. And you really, really have to... It was so silent at the table with us.
Yeah, this is a very game.
Tactical game. The actions themselves, they are not difficult. The difficult thing is to figure out when to do what and really be there at the table, be involved and see what's happening on the board. Otherwise, you lose in like 5 minutes. And that's not enjoyable for one, and that's not why you should play this game. You should be awake. You should be like energized and ready to go into like a heavy game, though it's not a heavy game, but it's involved. It's tactical. It's a lot of thinking. Yeah, the stone is heavy, I know. So I wouldn't even... I was thinking about that last night when we were playing. I wouldn't suggest this a dinner game, though it's, again, pretty simple and you can play it pretty fast depending on who's your opponent. And I'm just speaking to the two-player game here. But it's too tactical and too thinky for me to be a dinner game.
But I would assume you would also classify something as chess as being too thinky.
Yes, very much so. But I would say this could be like maybe the starter game on a game night, and then you play 2 or 3 games afterwards. Like, for example, we did last night. I would suggest this would fit. I wouldn't consider this the main game of a game night, where you play more than one game, and this is like the center game. I wouldn't consider this game to be enough to be that kind of a game for me. So it sits in the medium section there.
To me, I would say this, similar to chess, is not as overwhelming at the first times you play as chess is, but to me it felt the more we played it, the more you get into this game and can also focus on other things. However, unlike something like backgammon, this has no luck element in there at all. So if you...
Well, the only luck is if your opponent faints.
If you lose, it's kind of your fault. And other way around, obviously. But I can see that if you play this a couple of times, especially with the same person, you could easily play this and talk about something. So if you have like, hey, I'm meeting on a regular basis with a friend to catch up, and we need to do something while talking, this would probably fit that bill, even though you said this is not a simple dinner
No,
game.
I wouldn't have, for example, a podcast with it with things that are pretty new to me. But a conversation with a friend, I could see it with something that is like familiar, but you're just chatting. A podcast about, I don't know, something that I'm not that familiar with, or that is like 1.5 hours long. I could not have that with this game.
And this is certainly, it is something I like, but it also kind of, at least to me personally, classifies it as a game I have to be in the mood for this. This is as a battle of wits kind of thing as chess is in regards to, well, in chess, you have just one move to make and still anticipate moves and counter moves. Here you have 5 actions to do and also have to anticipate moves and counter moves, and not only one, but kind of 5 at worst. In addition to the rotating the arena. I actually, really while playing and also afterwards, I was thinking like, actually, you could theoretically play this game and have one player push the stone just wait for him to push it to one of the ends.
I was thinking about that too.
and then try to kind of in a last Zerg rushy thing bring out your guys or position your guys beforehand to intercept them and then take it over. But even if you do that, then the fighting, literally the wrestling that is very, at least felt to me in a gameplay sense, similar to what sumo looks like, or just plain wrestling looks like. Not the I'm the Rock, Dwayne Johnson wrestling, the traditional sport wrestling. And that actually captures that gameplay pretty good in that abstract version. It's I mean, you wouldn't say that chess is necessarily a good representation of 2 armies battling each other, but it's a good abstract representation of that. And this felt the same to me with things, which
I'm with you
again, which I very much liked. And sometimes you get to the point where there's like, okay, there's an opportunity for me to do a combo. Not really.
Often.
Not in a fashion where I, at least I wasn't able to predict that, but
me neither.
That you could set this up. But sometimes your turn starts and it's like, okay, I've got my 5 actions, maybe a couple more. If you captured someone, how could I do that? And then you realize, okay, hang on. If I turn this, capture him, then I have an additional action. So I'm actually now at 7 actions that I can do this. Or the thing I illustrated while showing the throw chain kind of stuff, and that pretty much feels awesome. It's like,
yes. I'm with you.
my dudes are pretty good at dealing with it. I'm thinking. Actually, I'm not as well. I'm no game designer, so I'm not as good as identifying if there's any flaws. But there's no. I haven't seen anything that tries to accommodate to who plays first or who starts the game. I would assume there's either an advantage or disadvantage with a player who starts first. But that being said, since the game is done in 30 minutes, probably a little bit quicker if you know what you're doing, that's short enough to just say, let's play 2 games. And
best out of 3.
Alternate.
Like we did last night.
I would even say if you're worried about that, just play an even amount of games and switch the who starts first. And maybe someone already figured this out, or you figured this out for yourself. If there is an advantage, you could still have some kind of catch up thing where if you lost, then, or if you're behind, then you get to play first or second, depending on what makes more sense.
Yeah. All right. So let's rate and then hop into the last section. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was my elbow. Did you hear that? I hope the mic doesn't pick it up.
You just wrestled your arm.
Yes, I did. It's a 2 thumbs up. It's an awesome game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's hop into the likes and dislikes. No, we just had them.
Let's talk about what we just talked
the
about
funny
again.
stories experiences,
Because this video needs to be 2 hours long.
No. I really want to aim for 45 minutes max.
Okay.
And we're on track. We're good so
Okay.
far. So, funny stories experiences. This game is... Like you said, you have to be in the mood for it. And I think this is a nice version of an abstract game for the days that I'm not in the mood for story-heavy games or for some franchise universes, maybe. I could have also said, come on, honey, let's play some backgammon on those days. But I think, or what I like is that we have the opportunity to play something else that is beautiful and they can move things and it's totally awesome. And I'm actually really, really looking forward to have another clan and see what they come up with different cubes and different ways to move in. If you maybe play then the sumo against another clan, or how you could do that. And I'm really curious how that experience would also change with 4 players.
That is actually something I wanted to ask you, which is almost like the like or dislike. Would you have preferred this game coming out with already different clans being present? Like, instead of having two of the same, having
No,
two
I wanted
different
to
clans?
have 2 of the same, because like in chess you have the same movements, the same thing. But I would have loved if, like, for an extra, you have a second clan in there, and just either try out a completely new clan, like both of the players playing the same, or if in a 4-player game, 2 of them play, let's say, the sumos and the other 2 play the others. Just how that how that works with the way the stone is pushed, and is it then as balanced as it is now, stuff like that. So I would just have loved one more clan in there that you can pick and choose what to play, pretty much. But what I really liked when we played hardly enough of this game, but a few times we had it on the table. It's just, though it's very tactical and thinky, I also always had the sense of, I'm gonna wind down, I'm gonna relax here. It wasn't like this kind of a game experience that we have with Pandemic. It didn't have the goofy kind of the experience that we have with Looney games, or the Star Warsy marching thing that we have with Imperial.
To me, like the simpler games like Love Letter or something like that, where I know I'm going to play a couple of those, and if I lose this one, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, but still, it
because
doesn't.
I'm competitive.
Yeah. I'd never noticed. But it still didn't feel like just an activity, like shuffling cards from the left right to the right. It was really thinky and tactical, but in the same sense, relaxing to me. And I don't really have that a lot with tactical and thinky, brain-wrecking kind of games. Yeah. But I really like that.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried because I've seen so few things about this game. Maybe just a very, very low production numbers on this, but I haven't come across.
There were some mentionings in the French parts of YouTube and the interwebs, but not a lot in German or English countries. I hardly, other than the presentation at Spiel, for example, but nobody talking about this game, reviewing it, or taking a look at it. I didn't see anything on Dice Tower or Rado Runs Through. Or any other Spielama, nothing, nowhere I saw anything that said anything about this game. Only the French press, yes, so there were some.
Maybe it's a secret. I can.
It's weird.
I can totally see a lot of potential for things that they can expand. They could introduce a new clan with different faces. They could even introduce something like specialist dice, so that you maybe exchange one of your 6 dudes with one guy who maybe has 2 or 3 special actions on there, or has more actions than in one thing than another. Maybe like a runner character, although actually more sides doesn't make any sense there because you don't grow the sides, but you choose which
yeah, but there's just like one die that has this face, so you have to have that one die on that face if you want it, and all the others can do all the other actions, but not that special action.
or you could. So what we in our place what we didn't use as much is the blocking. Although I can see that is powerful. You can, as I said, you can just block one guy if you're on top of him, and even the guy who's blocking can be blocked by another guy. Never you may have more than 3 cubes on top of each other.
And
but now thinking about this, that if there's an expansion, maybe there's a clan that is pretty focused on being like harassing in the mention of not being very strong at pushing the stone, but being more geared towards locking down other guys.
And I was actually thinking last night we played a couple of rounds. Just to have memories fresh, I was actually thinking about blocking you, but the thing that I had was always not having enough actions. And then I thought, okay, if I block you now, then next round I have to spend 1 action just to jump away from your back and be the unblocker. Pretty much. And I thought, next round I need to do this and this and this. Not enough actions. And then I just decided not to block you.
And I really heavily tried to, if there's a chance to capture one of your guys, I took it because I actually valued the extra action for me. At best, or she has to spend an action to get the guy back and take it from me.
In the second game last night, there was one round where he had the combo chain going on. Yeah. You should have seen his face. It lit up. Like this. Ching. And in one round, he captured 3. Count them. 1, 2, 3 of my dudes.
I think I already had one. I captured 2.
No. You captured 3 because I was just like, I did not see that coming. I did see the 1 or the 2 coming that you had in other games. But not the 3. I didn't see that coming. And I was like, we're so going to play Dice Masters after that. And I'm so going to crush you.
We're so going to play something more. Yeah.
I did not see that coming. And you were really lucky with that one combo you did there. And it took me at least, I didn't spend all the actions to get all the 3 dudes back to me in one go. But I spent 2 actions and... Yeah.
One remark I want to put out, even though we haven't played the 4-player game, I have to say just looking at the rules, the 4-player game doesn't seem to be that much of a difference from the 2-player game, because it's still just 6 kumitori that are going on. Yes, you have a little bit more actions, but it feels like I don't want to say shoehorned, but that's the impression I'm getting. It's like, this is a 2-player game.
Yeah.
You can play it as 2 teams if you want to keep four folks busy. But at its heart, it's team versus team game, similar to Armada
or Dice Masters. Because the thing that I would find most interesting to check out is, how does communication of the teams work on the table? Because you cannot just say, I'm going to do this and that next turn, so put your cubes here, because the others will hear.
Yeah. So the rule book mentions that it might be a good idea to have the at least who's taking how many actions per round secret.
Are you gonna have WhatsApp at the table?
I was about to say, I don't.
Or the 2 close the eyes and the others hold up the fingers, or
that seems a little bit.
Yeah, that's just but yeah. Again, if you could figure that out, that communication way, I think it would be a very interesting variant for the 4 players, because with the changing amount of actions that you might have with your team member and the others not knowing how you divided those, you might really screw them over if they are not even close to anticipating the right amount of actions you do with your 3 dudes. And since you have your 3 cubes and you're not playing the other one's 3 cubes, this is really important then. So I guess we will have, I don't know, pen and paper, or close your eyes. Team A, close your eyes. Team B, hold up the fingers. How many actions everybody wants to take? No, yeah, you have to have at least 3. That one doesn't count. So yeah, anyway. I think that's the perfect way to end the game. And the video too.
We're ending this game. Yeah, I'd say final word for me is if you're looking for an abstract game that is a little bit different from the usual abstract games, and I think this works out pretty well playing with a kid too. And even if they say chess, that sounds a little bit boring or
it's
something
not.
like that, this is more colorful, and it is just nice and appealing.
It's very, very appealing. And if you are very lucky, especially when you're in Essen and you bought it, you might have a signed little. Maybe they do that at other stores, or maybe they hide them somewhere. But there's a little cartoon strip in there. It's very cute. Signed by, I would say it's the artist.
And the thing that it says of 300 makes me consider that probably it's not in every box.
No, but maybe they came up with new comic strips and have them hidden somewhere, or have them for every event or whatever. But I really liked this tiny little cartoon, and it refreshed my French.
So with that, we are going to leave you. Next Draw for Initiative is still us talking about the Draw for Initiative. So Sumo Duck and Sumo Droid, which not only in color scheme but also in body form fit. And this is no fat shaming. These are
very beautiful,
famous wrestlers, which have to be honored.
Yes. So thank you very much for watching. Happy Sunday to you. Do all the good YouTube stuff. Goodbye. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.